the Gadget God here, and today I'm giving you my impressions of Nintendo's extremely hard to find, forever sold out everywhere, NES Classic Edition. This is actually a tiny Nintendo Entertainment System, their original North American video game console, and it comes with 30 games actually on a memory card that's built inside of this thing. So it's got 30 games, you can't add more, can't have less, 30, and they actually have 30 really good games, which is surprising. So one of the reasons that this is sold out everywhere that you look is because the price was really very generous to them. $60 for the NES Classic, which is, if you break it down, they sell these games for like $5 a piece on their home consoles, so 5 times 30, 150. So they could have, if you buy all these games individually, it's $150 if you're buying them on your Wii or your Wii U or your Nintendo Switch. But for $60, you can get all of them on this tiny, I mean, I'm not even kidding when I say tiny. This thing is about as big as an iPhone. This tiny console has 30 games on it, and it comes with the controller, HDMI cable, power plug, all that stuff. So really the price is phenomenal. If anything, Nintendo could have charged a lot more for this. They could have charged $100 and still would have sold out. So my impression is that this is actually a great value if you can find one. Now, the only issues that I do have with this are that the power cord and the actual controller cord are very, very short. The cord for this is 2.5 feet. So the idea is that you actually take this micro console and you put it on your coffee table, and then your HDMI cable and power cable extend all the way to your television, because you need to push the reset button on here to get back to the menu to pick a different game. So if anything, they should have made the controller cords longer and then maybe put a reset button on the controller, because it's pretty annoying to have this thing in the middle of your living room, this console, when it's usually tucked in your entertainment center like every other electronic connected to your TV. So about those 30 games, and again, you can buy a separate controller for $10, but those are even harder to find than the actual console, and they have the Wii connector port there. So you could use a classic controller for your Wii or Wii U with this console. You can also get wireless controllers, but the wireless ones aren't actually made by Nintendo, but they still look exactly the same. So there really is a great selection of games on here. Now, is this a product for you? If you like NES games and you don't have an NES, then absolutely, $60 you can't lose. That's the price of a regular game nowadays, $60. And for that, you're getting 30 games, plus a controller, plus the console, easy to lug around. The console actually uses a USB input on the back to charge, so you could potentially charge this with your cell phone charger. You could plug this in and power it with your phone's cell phone charger. So very nice that they did that in the back of the console. But I would say maybe this console is not for you if you don't like the difficulty of NES games. I would say the top ones for myself on here are Mario Brothers 1, 2, and 3, Punch Out. Kid Icarus is very difficult. Mega Man 2 is a classic, and I'm very surprised they put that on there, but again, that's a difficult game. They have Donkey Kong, which is another great game, Kirby. Here's the list of the 30 games right there if you're not already aware, or you don't want to Google it. Excite Bike's on there, but why this might not be for everybody is because a lot of these games are really difficult. If you didn't grow up playing the NES and you get the NES Classic, don't doubt it. You're going to love it. You're going to be psyched. The value is incredible. Like I said, they could have charged $100. $60 is really a steal. But I guarantee at least half of these games, you won't be able to beat the first level. Or you won't be able to beat the second level. Oh, Dr. Mario. They really did an amazing job picking the 30 games on here. I would say my favorites, Balloon Flight is a classic. Bubble Bobble, that's a classic. Castlevania, obviously a classic, but it's very difficult. Castlevania 2, even more difficult than Castlevania 1. Donkey Kong Jr., yeah, they have Donkey Kong, so putting Donkey Kong Jr. on there makes a lot of sense. Double Dragon 2, a beat 'em up, you definitely want to have that on there, but again, it's a difficult game. Dr. Mario Classic, gotta have that. Excite Bike Classic, Final Fantasy, it's the original Final Fantasy, so it's more like a novelty that's on there. If you actually try to play that game, it is so slow and time consuming that I doubt anyone's going to play very far into Final Fantasy. It's more exciting to have that on there. Galaga Arcade Classics, that's a good game. Ghosts and Goblins, classic but very difficult. Gradius, similar I guess you could say to Galaga, but again, it's a difficult game. Ice Climber, yeah, it's a classic. Kid Icarus, it's a classic but it's difficult. Kirby Adventure, great game to have on there for everybody. Mario Brothers 1, 2, and 3, obviously. Mario Brothers, that's the first one, that's the arcade one, so that's a great game to have on there, very classic. Mega Man 2, super surprised that's on there. Probably the most popular and well-known Mega Man game, but again, it's difficult. Metroid, Classic, gotta have it on there, but again, that's a difficult game. Ninja Gaiden, it's just so surprising what they put on here, because I think they really hit a home run with the games that they chose. They chose like potentially the definitive 30 games to have for the NES. But for the casual person, like, good luck beating the first level in Ninja Gaiden. Pac-Man, just a perfect game to have on here. Punch Out Mr. Dream. Obviously, it's not going to be Mike Tyson. They lost the license for that. So, Punch Out with Mr. Dream, great game to have on there. Star Tropics, super long game. Very old school RPG. So, that's, again, I feel like that's more for novelty's sake. Super C, that's like Contra. Awesome game to have on there, but kind of wish it was just Contra instead. Super Mario Bros. 1, 2, and 3. I mean, the fact that all 3 are on there is just, it's probably worth buying alone just for the fact that Mario 1, 2, and 3 are on there. Tecmo Bowl, surprising game to have on there, but that's just a great multiplayer game. Another classic. The Legend of Zelda and Zelda 2. They could not have done a better job picking the 30 games to put on here. So, yes, obviously you should buy this. If you can find it, buy it. Don't even hesitate. And I really applaud Nintendo for really picking probably the best 30 games that they could have picked to put on here. I'm very, very impressed with that. And I think that's also a really good sign, this whole Nintendo Entertainment System, NES Classic Edition. It really came out of nowhere right before the holiday season in 2016, and it's sold out everywhere. What Nintendo originally said was that they didn't make a lot of these because their assumption was that people who were in their upper 30s and in their 40s and 50s who used to play Nintendo but have since given up video games, this was intended for that market, that audience would buy it and get a little bit back more into playing video games. This would kind of essentially be Nintendo's gateway drug for people who used to play Nintendo back in the day. They would play this and they'd be like, oh yeah, I forgot how much I enjoy video games, and then they would, maybe buy a Wii U or a Nintendo Switch. That's what Nintendo said their intention was, which is why they didn't make that many, but it turns out everybody wants one of these. It's tiny, the price point is practically giving these away, because like I said, if you had a Wii or a Wii U and you downloaded all these games, some of which are not on the Virtual Console yet, it would cost you $150 just to buy the downloads for these games on a Nintendo system. That's not including the cost of the system and controllers. This is $60, and it comes with this ridiculously adorable console, and you can get another one to do 2-player on it for a lot of these games. A brilliant move by Nintendo. So my hope is that they're going to do a Super Nintendo Classic Edition. I mean, they have to. This thing is still sold out. It sells out in 5 minutes every time they get more stock. So they have to. They're going to. The question is when. And then after that, if they make an N64 Classic Edition, a Nintendo 64 Classic Edition, could you even imagine? You got the replica controllers, but they're made by Nintendo. Hopefully they fix that wobbly joystick. But this sets a great precedent for Nintendo. Very successful product. They can mass produce these. And the inside is just a motherboard and a memory chip that's actually way bigger than what the amount of memory needed to put all these games on there. So people have actually already hacked the NES Classic Edition. I believe you can fit like the entire NES library on the built-in storage that's already in there. No, I haven't hacked it, but I'm certainly interested in that idea. I think that's a great idea. A micro console that has every NES game on it that you can literally fit in your pocket. Like I said, the size of this console is as big as an iPhone. So that's my impressions of the NES Classic. Yes, I would buy it, absolutely. It's a fantastic product. I applaud Nintendo for their game selection. They didn't just do first-party Nintendo games. They also got the third parties and the second-party games, and they got the good games. They got the games that you would dream would be on here. Well, guess what? Dreams do come true. They're on here. Raise your hands if you just don't care. Wave them high in the air. It's a great job, Nintendo. I hope they make the Super Nintendo Classic Edition. I know they will. I just hope they don't take forever to come out with it, and I hope they come out with a lot more of the product on launch and afterwards, because, I mean, $60. It's like free. I can imagine the Super Nintendo Classic Edition coming out for $100 just because they sell those Super Nintendo digital games for more expensive of a price than they do the regular Nintendo games, and also, they know now that they can sell this for more than $60. They could sell a Super Nintendo Classic Edition for $100 easily, and it would sell out just like this one's been selling out. So if you have a chance to get one, don't hesitate, get one. If you ask for it for your birthday, good luck, because Grandma's going to have to go on eBay and buy one for you for an inflated price. But if you guys got any questions or comments, put them down below. This is my impressions of the NES Classic Edition. Buy it. Buy it. Great job, Nintendo. Have fun playing it, reliving the classics. Any questions or comments, put them down below. Like, comment, subscribe. You know the drill. I'm the Gadget God. I do the research, so you don't have to. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Stay awesome.